Thank you, Sophie, and welcome to a special look north celebrating Newcastle United's League Cup victory. Yes, it actually happened. Newcastle United have won their first domestic trophy for 70 years, and the party is by no means over 24 hours later.
I'm happy, the best day of my life. It's like a birth. It's beautiful.
He rose to the occasion and set his club on the path to victory. We report from Blyth, hometown of centre-half Dan Burn.
Sort of little tear to your eye when you think like he is from Blyth. You think of how hard he's worked, his commitment, his attitude, and even when he was a student at school, he had that same attitude of just wanting to do the best.
It was black and white day at schools, nurseries, even playgroups. And what did life look like in Britain in 1955 when Newcastle last won a domestic trophy? It was all in black and white, of course. And there's another chance to see the highlights in tonight's Team Talk. Good evening, I'm Dawn Thewlis. Well, in a moment, we'll join Carol Malier outside St James's Park as we look back on a historic night for Newcastle United. It's been a long time coming, 70 years since their last domestic trophy and 56 years since they lifted their last silverware, the 1969 Intercities Fairs Cup. Well, it's been well worth the wait, though, so over to you, Carol.
Hey Dawn, what's it like? We get to report on the big moments, don't we, here in this job? Amazing, and this was certainly a big moment. As you say, 1955 when Newcastle lifted that FA Cup. Waited a long time for a trophy to come here again. Last night they did it with a 2-1 victory against Liverpool. You know, they'd returned to Wembley 9 times to try and win something. 9 occasions of heartbreak. As I say, until last night, 10th time lucky. Jerry Jackson has our first report.
How many will remember where they were in the 45th minute of that Wembley final?
Looking for Burn again. Oh, Dan Burn! Oh! Would you believe it? Oh, wow. Big Dan Burn.
Decades of hope, frustration, dreams and despair. This is what it means when all that pressure is released. When Blythe's own, boys' own hero Dan Burn opened the scoring, it was like a fairy tale turning real before their eyes. And when goal machine Alexander Isak did what he does, it was a story every generation could believe in.
The best day of my life. It's like a birth. It's beautiful.
Absolutely elated. It's brilliant.
Was it ever in doubt?
Never.
Apart from having me kids, this is the best one. I never ever thought we would win anything in my lifetime.
A late Liverpool goal made for a tense finish. It also made the outpouring of Magpies fans' relief and joy all the sweeter. For Newcastle boss Eddie Howe, a fulfilment of his promise when he signed his latest contract to win silverware.
We've come together as a squad. I love working with them every day. Honoured to be their leader. Yeah, and for the supporters, you know. Since I've been at the football club, the support we've had home and away has been incredible. So I'm just so pleased they have this trophy to end the long wait, and hopefully we can get some more in the future.
I've been following this club since I was a little boy. The first time I ever went, Andy Griffin whacked one of them, took corner, and that followed us through highs and lows. And through every single memory I have on me, it's just a moment of, come on!
Just so pleased. Best shift I've ever done for Northumbria, please.
Well, I'm 77. I supported Newcastle from 1955, the last time they won a cup. And I thought I was running short of time, but we've done it. That game was absolutely magic.
70 years of hurt never stopped them dreaming. It means some form of European football next season is guaranteed, and riding this wave of confidence, who's to say a return to the Champions League is out of reach?
All the years we've been coming, we've actually won something, and he's just a youngster. I've had to wait all my life.
Jerry Jackson, BBC Look North.
Well, do you know what? Some of the fans, all of the fans actually, are still pinching themselves this morning thinking, did that really happen? Yes, it did. Jonathan Swinkler has been to Newcastle Central Station and he was watching some of those early fans coming home from the trains. Some of them might have been a little bit bleary and hungover, but mostly purely exhilarated.
I can't believe we've touched a trophy for 70 years. And it was good.
What happens now?
What happens now? So we want to try to win the Premier League and try to win that trophy.
Been a mental couple of days. I lost my foot, but I love it. We're back, and this is the first of many. I've had all the kids there, everyone's loved it. Had a really good time. So, players done me proud, the fans done me proud, and we were representing. So I'm really happy, mate.
Hey! Hey! We should be there and beating anybody next year and win it 2 years in a row.
I'm going home to get some sleep. I didn't get much last night. So,
how much sleep did you get?
2 hours. Sandro, ole, 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 going round in my head the whole time. So, yeah, it was brilliant. Son flew over from Australia for it. So, family was together. Fantastic.
I can hardly speak, but what an amazing, amazing weekend. Honestly, loved every minute of it. Just feel so proud. So good. I'm going to get emotional again. So good.
Mint. Absolutely mint. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, it's a long time coming, hasn't it? A long time coming.
Seeing the tide and thinking you're home and
yes.
what's happened has happened.
That Tyne Bridge, that's it. You're home. You're coming home in Newcastle.
What happens now?
You tell me. What happens now? It's the world now, isn't it? We've got all the future now. So we've got a lot of things coming.
Well, BBC Radio Newcastle's commentator Matthew Raisbeck is here with me now, and you've been there from, you know, the very first moment, the build-up, the aftermath. Matthew, for you as commentator, and as a bit of a fan, I'm sure, how did it rate for you as a big moment?
Well, it's really special, and I think anyone who was at Wembley yesterday will feel privileged to have witnessed Newcastle create history. They have been at Wembley many times before, and there's been a lot of disappointments. Always in the past they've had great support, the fans have turned up, but this time the team turned up, and that's what was different. They deserved their win. It's a monumental achievement.
I think when they came out, from the very first whistle, you sort of had this feeling they're all up for it.
Compared to the final 2 years ago, the build-up was different, the feel around Newcastle was different. In 2023 there was so much emotion because it meant so much to be back there. This time I think they were more focused on the game, the job they needed to do, and we saw that in their performance.
It's actually taken quite a lot for this to sink in, isn't it? Because those pictures of the celebrations at the end, you know, you're kind of blinking and thinking, yeah, they're black and white stripes.
Yeah.
Picking the trophy up.
It really happened. It will take time for people to digest because it's been so long, and I think that's why it really means so much to Newcastle United.
The sports washing issue has raised its head again, Matthew.
Well, in the celebrations on the pitch with the manager and the players in front of the 32,000 Newcastle fans who were there was also the club's chairman, Yasser Al-Rumayyan. He's the governor of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. They own 85% of Newcastle United, and their presence at Newcastle is controversial and uncomfortable for some. Today, the group NUFC Fans Against Sports Washing say that the success at Wembley is tainted because of the involvement with Saudi Arabia, and they say that it's hard to see the win at Wembley as anything other than a victory for sports washing.
OK, well, let's stay in the moment for now. We're all enjoying it. What do you see Newcastle United achieving from here?
I think some people would tell you that the first trophy is always the hardest one to win. Well, they finally managed to do that, so they're into the next phase of their journey. They have wealthy owners who are ambitious. You would think that they would only build from here and there'll be more success in the years to come. More trophies, more Wembley. Who knows what the future holds, but it looks good for Newcastle.
You want to get that rail card booked then, Matthew?
I think they'll be back.
Thank you. OK, well, let's talk about Dan Burn. Dan Burn, shall we? Local lad from Blythe, 6'7", headed home that first goal for Newcastle. Absolutely brilliant in the whole game. Adam Powell has been to Blythe today.
So put a name on the ball.
This is Dan Burn's old school in Blythe.
Excellent, well done.
And this is Mr. Kenley, Dan's former PE teacher, who made it back from Wembley late last night.
It was just unbelievable. It was destiny, really. I think everyone thought he was going to score, and he did. And then when he put that header in, it was like just the roof just lifted off.
Mr. Kenley is not the only one recovering from their trip to Wembley.
I'm feeling very, very tired today, but just happy that we won. Excited.
Sort of little tear to your eye when you think like he is from Blythe, and he was like, I think how hard he's worked, his commitment, his attitude, and even when he was a student at school, he had that same attitude of just wanting to do the best.
Edge of the box, on your head, boom, in the bottom corner. Honestly, it was amazing. I was literally jumping up and down. I was going, get in! Being from Blythe, we get told we can't do much, but we've done it. He's proved them wrong. Man of the match, and obviously he's getting signed up for England.
It was fantastic. I love the game from start to finish. I'm very proud of Dan Burn. I'm very inspired that he used to come to our school, and I'm very proud.
In Blythe, the overriding emotion is pride in what Dan and Newcastle have achieved.
Pub just went mad, absolutely electric. It was jumping all over. Very, very proud. Very, very proud of.
It's a Geordie bag goal, it's got to be done.
I'm like 66 and I thought, please let me win something before I go somewhere, do you know what I mean?
Written in the stars, wasn't it? Written in the stars. 45 to 1 in that, I guess.
You did all right out of it?
A couple of quid. Cheating man to the paint.
Yes, a Dan Burn!
Oh, it's amazing. There's not many people from Blythe, you know what I mean? It's made a bit more of a name for Blythe, you know what I mean? Brilliant, brilliant lad.
Best win ever. Like, honestly, it was just unreal, wasn't it? I think we've all lost our voices. We've all woke up with a bit of a sore head. But back on it today. Up Dan Burn.
As for that goal, well, let's relive it, courtesy of a slightly less famous Dan from Blythe.
The latest one from Kieran Trippier looking for Burn again. Dan Burn! Would you believe it? Wow! Big Dan Burn with the biggest goal he will ever score.
Adam Powell, BBC Look North, Blythe.
Well done, sir. Well, you know, celebrations have spanned the generations, from the veterans who remember that first FA Cup in 1955 to very young ones who haven't waited very long for their first trophy, have they? Julie Smith, and you might want to have your earplugs ready for this one, she's been to a playgroup in Newcastle.
1, 2, 3.
The excitement of the Carabao Cup win for these young fans meant an unforgettable day of fun at nursery, with activities centred on capturing the special moment in North East history.
Obviously, the last week or so we've been building up, all excited for the Carabao Cup final. We've just done a lot based on them because it's history. It's 70 years in the making since we last picked that cup up, and we did it last night, which was fantastic.
Victory Joy making their own trophies to take home to continue the celebrations over the coming weeks.
Who watched it with you?
Mum and Dad.
And did you scream when they scored a goal?
Yeah.
And what happened when we scored? What did Grandad do?
He shouted.
He shouted? What did he shout?
Like Toon Army.
Toon Army, did he?
Like that. Toon Army!
Like that? Was it that loud?
Yeah.
Wow.
And everyone here agrees that Eddie Howe and his Newcastle United team are truly champions. Julie Smith, BBC Look North, Newcastle.
Told you it was loud. They're very excited. Right, there's more football in the studio now with Dawn, but we'll be back a little bit later on in the programme.
Thanks very much, Carol. Yeah, so Michael Bridges is with me now to talk through all the weekend's football in Team Talk. So we've seen all the reaction and celebrations from last night at Wembley. So now let's have a look at the all-important action again, Michael. And, you know, Eddie Howe just played it exactly right, didn't he?
Tactical masterclass from Eddie, his staff, and the players had to execute it, and that's exactly what they did. It was an outstanding performance. I mean, the atmosphere, the build-up was, the scenes at Wembley, incredible, black and white everywhere. Fabulous. And there was just something I felt this was going to happen special.
Was in the air,
it was in the air. And we've just seen that goal recreated from the Blythe teacher, Dan Burn. What a header. Another set play moment during this game that Newcastle totally dominated, and Dan Burn there celebrating with Alan Shearer, another legendary goal scorer.
And they'd worked on that all week as well, so it wasn't a fluke.
Oh, you could tell that wasn't a fluke. No, they totally outplayed them. And there was chances created for fun. This goal, I think, should have stood. I think because Keller has saved it, but it wasn't to be. VAR's intervened, and then Isak, the man at Wembley, getting the second goal. That's when, you know, everybody in the black and white region was thinking that this history is in the making.
They just had more energy and everything. Yeah. Liverpool did look off the pace after
they
crashing
did. They had
out
the Champions League midweek. It went to extra time. I think that played it. But Pope was in goal, made a huge save. Was it ever going to end without nail-biting moments?
Not.
No, it wasn't. There was 8 minutes of extra time, but they got the job done. Incredible scenes.
Absolutely incredible. And it's not often, you know, that you see Eddie Howe being openly emotional, but you can see why he was.
I think naturally you end up thinking of the players, the staff, but also the people that aren't with you. Like for me, my mum, family members, go to them and just think of all the hard sacrifices, hard work that they gave you as a child to give you the opportunity to have a good life, really. I think you think that there's, you know, you're getting help from above and you're getting support, and just always had the thought that I want to try and make my family proud. And now, of course, I have 3 boys and I want to try and make them proud too.
Oh, crikey, it's nearly set me off again. So, 25,516 days between lifting domestic trophies, can you believe it? Newcastle now have that burden off their shoulders. So what does this win mean for the club now, do you think?
Well, it's huge. I'm going to take you back to 76 when these teams met, 74, when they met. They both had 11 trophies each at that moment. Liverpool now to this day have 43. And Newcastle have moved on to 12. So what it does, this could kickstart Newcastle. I think we're going to see what Eddie Howe has done to give the belief back to the region. He's gone one better in his 4 years, Champions League football. He's delivered a trophy, and I'm sure we're going to see a statue alongside Sir Bobby Robson down there.
I'm sure we will. He's become an absolute legend, really, hasn't he? Yeah. And, you know, he's done so much in the last few years since he's taken over. What is it? Because he's a rare thing. He's a successful English manager.
He's a tactical genius. He lives and breathes. I'm pleased he's just taken 2 days off from looking at the coaching manuals. He said, I'm going to relax. It's not like him. He could sleep at the training ground if he was allowed to, do you know what I mean? Which I think he has done in the past. He's a perfectionist, and I think he's a humble man, and he's a type of manager that I'd love to play for. But now all focus now leads back to the Premier League. Yeah. They've got the Europa Conference League with that. It's all about the Champions League spot, and all the results this weekend went Newcastle's way. Chelsea lost. Yeah. Brighton had the draw with Manchester City, so they've gone away for training camp. Dan Burn's going on England duty. It's just been an incredible week for Newcastle United.
So it gives them a bit of time now, doesn't it, to kind of put that all kind of to bed, celebrate, but put it to bed. I know there's a parade coming a little bit later, but really now redouble their efforts in the Premier League to get that Champions League
And I think that this could kickstart. I mean, you've got to embrace it. That's a massive moment. What they've done for the, you know, I know people that are still at this football club at Newcastle United that were there when I was there. Sue Banks has been the PA for many managers. Tomo the kit man. It's people like that have got to cherish this moment, and the fans, that's what it's for, and the players, to see Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton crying, they get it. I mean, that's 2 Brazilian footballers that have come and embraced the culture in the region. Fantastic.
It is indeed. Well, for all those who aren't Newcastle United fans, it's worth remembering that Middlesbrough were the last of our teams to lift domestic silverware back in 2004, while Sunderland were the last of our teams to lift a trophy at Wembley in 1973. And there's a strong chance that Sunderland could end up meeting Frank Lampard's Coventry in the Championship playoffs, Michael. This was a massively disappointing result for Sunderland.
Yes, it certainly was. I mean, Reggie Labree's worst result since he's been the manager of Sunderland Football Club, and I've got to say, they just didn't turn up. Coventry under Frank Lampard have gone from a team fighting a relegation battle to a team now that are going to be in the playoffs, and nobody will want to come up against this team because the form that they're in. And I've never seen a team do this to Sunderland in the manner that they did. Haji Wright, the USA striker, got himself a hat-trick, so you know, Sunderland are sitting 4th. I think that's where they're going to finish, because the gap to Burnley and Sheffield United, I think, is too far. There's 10 points between these 2 teams, and you know, Coventry are in 5th. I think this is going to be the playoff, and Sunderland have got to make sure that they turn up.
They certainly do. And Borough didn't really turn up against Luton either. Keeper Mark Travers really saved the day for them, didn't he?
Well, I think it sums up though, and he got man of the match at Travers because of his performance, his saves. Middlesbrough won the possession, and I know there was a lot of fans disgruntled because possession doesn't win you games.
Absolutely.
Shots on target, 0 in this game against a team that are second bottom. Got to say, Michael Carrick said it was a big point for me. Just not good enough.
Well, in League 2, defeat for Harrogate and also for Carlisle. And we've been saying it for weeks, but it's really not looking good for the Blues, is it, Michael?
Yeah, this one's hurting me, you know, because obviously I was at Brunton Park. I've been there with Carlisle under Paul Simpson. This result, the defeat, I mean, it was always going to be tough because AFC Wimbledon were sitting in 3rd. And, you know, Matthew Dennis gave the Carlisle fans a little bit of hope when he got a goal to bring it back to 2-1 late on, but it was too far gone. The worst part about this, though, is that Tranmere also won to get the gap even more.
And that was a real shock win, wasn't it, against second place Bradford as well.
It was, but you know, you never know. I just think this result, Sunderland for Carlisle, it's curtains.
Yeah, the only downside for Newcastle United this weekend was that their women were beaten in the local derby against Durham, but Emily Murphy put Newcastle ahead.
Well, she did, and then it was on loan striker from Chelsea, Amy Claypool.
Yep.
Look at these 2 goals she
They're great
got.
goals,
Fantastic. And then there was a third for Durham. The only thing that's annoying me, Dawn, about this is that WSL are contemplating not having a promotion and relegation this season. It's going to impact our clubs in Durham, Sunderland, Newcastle. If this is the case, if it is, it's going to be a disgrace. Now, I'm totally against it because Durham and our girls at Newcastle and Sunderland all deserve that opportunity.
No, they absolutely do. Thank you very much, Michael. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Well, as has been repeated many times in the last 24 hours, Newcastle United's last domestic cup victory was 70 years ago, way back in 1955. Even I can't remember it. The world looked very different then. The young Queen Elizabeth had only been on the throne for 3 years. Post-war rationing had recently ended and national service was still in place. Mark Denton has been looking back at a world in black and white.
A great moment for the Newcastle fans. The 7th of May, 1955, and a young Queen hands Newcastle United their last domestic trophy. That is, of course, until yesterday. Rationing had only ended the year before. The average house cost around £1,800, with the average salary around £10 a week. And a peek at the headlines of 70 years ago shows you a different world. 215 miles an hour. 1955 was the year Donald Campbell beat the world water speed record at Ullswater, battling a bad back to get into the record books. It was also an election year. Anthony Eden became Prime Minister, with Churchill, the old warhorse, retiring.
A parliament which will give us, for 4 or 5 years, an opportunity of working together.
There was a royal romance. Princess Margaret with Group Captain Peter Townsend was the talk of the country. Viewers of The Crown know that didn't end happily. And attitudes have changed in those 70 years.
It was all a lovely headache for the judges, but finally the choice was narrowed, and full of hope, they parade again. Now they return home in triumph.
Times have certainly changed, but a new Newcastle United lineup has now made history themselves.
With 3 cup triumphs in 5 years, we'll soon be coining a new phrase about carrying cups to Newcastle.
Mark Denton, BBC Look North.
Ah, great stuff. And as if to kind of celebrate, the weather's going to be nice and sunny for us for the next few days.
It certainly is, and warming up as well. It's looking good as we head through the week. Let's take a look at some of your weather pictures from the weekend to kick off then. This first one from Rosebery Topping, captured by Jim. A bit of cloud in the sky, but still some of that sunshine just managing to come through. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Our next picture is a bit of a more showery scene from Scarborough at the weekend. Some big rain clouds overhead, but still, again, we've got that sunshine just trying to go through. And we'll finish up tonight with a lovely spring picture from Roker Park. This was captured by Jill. Lovely bird in the trees there, with some of the blossom just trying to come out. Now let's take a look at the forecast then for the next few days, and it is looking like it's going to be pretty spring-like. This is the headline then, some cold, frosty mornings, but plenty of sunshine by day and gradually turning warmer as well. If we look at the satellite picture from today, this is the cloud that we've had. There has been quite extensive cloud, but you can see out in the North Sea this clearer area, and that indicates the clearer, drier air that's coming in tonight. And that's going to be key because it is going to be getting pretty cold. So clear skies through the night, maybe just a little bit of mist and fog over the hills, and those temperatures will be falling away sharply. So gardeners beware. We could be looking at -3, -4 degrees Celsius to start off on Tuesday morning, and it's already feeling quite chilly out there. Now, after that frosty start, the sunshine will be up pretty quickly and the sun is going to be out all day. Just take a look at this map. There's barely anything to see on it. So no clouds in the sky almost, just a bit of a light breeze coming in from the southeast. A lovely afternoon, and temperatures getting up to around 11 degrees Celsius at their highest. So it is going to be feeling a little bit warmer perhaps than it has been today. Let's have a look at Tuesday night then. And it's a rinse and repeat once again. We have clear skies through Tuesday night into Wednesday. And actually, if anything, it's possible that Tuesday night, Wednesday is going to be a colder night still. So again, those temperatures well below freezing, -2 to -4 degrees, or possibly even a touch lower. A very, very cold start to Wednesday morning with a frost on the ground. But again, on Wednesday, it's looking like a lovely day. Plenty of sunshine, barely a cloud in the sky, not much to see on the map. Cloud perhaps just starting to build up in the afternoon, but there's really very little I can say about it other than that it's going to be a lovely day. Temperatures creeping up a touch, so parts of the northeast maybe get to 11 or 12 on Wednesday. Cumbria getting a little bit higher than that. It gets warmer still, though, as we head towards the end of the week. You can see on the air mass chart, we start to import these yellows and oranges as we draw up air from the near continent. So on Thursday, we are expecting the peak of the temperatures around 16, 17 degrees Celsius. But the bad news is, by the time we get to the weekend, it's back to rain, I'm afraid.
Too good to last. Thanks very much, Jen. Well, that's it from us in the studio tonight. But now it's time to hand back to St James's Park for a final word.
Yeah, it's been announced, been confirmed, there will be what's called a large-scale, I'll say, large-scale celebration on the 29th of March to celebrate Newcastle United's win. I just want to say a personal note. This is my lovely dad, Newcastle United's biggest fan. Yeah, I was born on Tyneside. There we are. Put him in front of the TV yesterday to watch. It would have meant such a lot to him. We lost him 11 months ago. It means a lot to everybody, or a lot of people around the region. Good night, everyone.
What do you think is going to happen today?
So I think the score might be 2-1 to Newcastle at the end.
Newcastle United's 17th appearance at Wembley. They've lost 5 domestic finals here since they won in '55. This time needs to be different.
Excited, nervous, anxious, all of it, but mainly excitement.
Trippier on the left, looking for Byrne again. Dan
what?
Byrne! Would you believe it? Hanging in the air, Murphy, Issa! Oh, you beauty! It's Newcastle United's day. Finally, Newcastle United win at Wembley. It doesn't pay for blood!
Absolute quality. Best day of my life. It's like a beer. It's beautiful. That is one of the best performances with heart and grit.
Well, I'm 77 and I thought I was running short of time, but we've done it. That game was absolutely magic.